Hello again, Conce. Going to be showing off the sort of cheesy smoke bomb related heavy bowgun Fatalis run, and I thought I would show these skills beforehand just so they're easier to copy. I think the noteworthy skills are the fact that I have the heavy artillery and stealth in the glider mantle. In my opinion, you don't really want stealth active all the time, but I might be mistaken. I'm not super familiar with this. I don't play much heavy bowgun. And otherwise, it's just the sort of stacking of earplugs to level 5. Obviously, I'm going to be using heroics for the extra damage, but you're more than welcome to just use these cheese strats as part of just your regular hunts. So just to preface this, I have the link for the source where well, obviously I saw this from Tatsu's videos, and so most of us did. But then I had a look for the sort of original source that I could find, and so I found a small Japanese channel that did this run beforehand, and you should definitely check them out. They have a much better run than me. I want to clarify, I do not play much heavy bowgun. We spent about 4 hours learning how this works on stream with like smoke bombs and trying to figure out what the trick is, and then I spent like an hour off stream getting the run. There is a huge room for improvement, and I could definitely push this down, but I don't really find heavy bowgun, in all honesty. The scope gives me a bit of a headache, so I can't really do these runs that long. But yeah, there are people out there who've done much faster runs. Obviously, there's Tatsu, but then the original source is even faster than that. So please give them a look. They'll be linked right at the top of the description. You should have a look and compliment their run with preferably some basic English. But yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're just proccing heroics. Obviously, you can forgo this step if you're not using heroics. I like to use a barrel bomb just to keep my red health from regenerating past the threshold. I have a Palico with the Coral Bongo. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'm doing it basically for the attack buff. Now, I could have smoke bombed before, but I wanted to get Fatalis to land on all fours, just so that, because if I get it to land while I'm in the middle of smoke bombing, it'll obviously fall on me and I'll get screwed. So by having it fall first is convenient. Now, the way this strategy works is you'll notice Fatalis starts walking backwards, but only when I have purple. If you look at my minimap, it goes purple when Fatalis... Basically, when you use a smoke bomb, there's kind of like 2 steps. I don't fully understand how the mechanics work, but this is the heuristics that I follow to make these runs work. You can see right now the minimap is surrounded by red because we're aggroed. When I place a smoke bomb down, initially Fatalis will sort of lose track of me and try to figure out where I am, and eventually the minimap will glow purple to basically say that it's completely lost track of me. At that point, he'll start like firing random attacks, and when you do hit him while you're still like hidden under a smoke, it will be sure to like iframe through. This is the reason I run evade extend too, although obviously if you're better with the weapon you wouldn't need to. But yeah, during purple is when he'll start. So for example here, you'll see I'm shooting him now, and it's he's just standing there taking it, looking for me. And eventually the smoke will wear off and he'll find my location. However, the moment the minimap goes purple, if it goes, okay, it's gone purple. Now when I shoot him, he starts walking backwards. And at that point, I leave the smoke because he's obviously going to get out of close range. Now you really want the chest break in phase 1. You don't want it in phase 2 because the main sort of, the main hook of this strategy, and over here you're going to see I'm... you want to like take a bit of a mega potion if you can't make it in time. You don't want to heal back to full because you'll lose heroics. So take a little bit of a mega potion. You can get fire blighted from the Nova and get back into heroics range if you need to. You can see we're going to ghillie mantle and then use either poison smoke bombs or dung pods. I'm using poison smoke pods for the poison, obviously, but you're welcome to just use dung. We're going to get him into a corner and we're going to lock him inside the purple phase. Now you'll remember that on the glider mantle I have 3 points of stealth. What that 3 points of stealth do are they basically put Fatalis into purple phase much quicker when we activate the smoke bomb. Again, and you'll see once we're in purple, he'll start firing off random attacks while we're not hitting him, for example. So yeah, I put the glider mantle on, then immediately smoke, and he'll lose track of me. And you'll see that now that he's in purple, every time we shoot him, he starts walking backwards. Now you've got to be a little bit careful while you're reloading or while you're just standing still. While the smoke is there, while he hasn't noticed you, he will fire random attacks. Anyway, yeah, so we wait for the smoke to start to expire, and then we throw another one, and because we have 3 points of stealth on the set, we pretty much immediately lose him, and because we have him backed into a corner, we're completely fine. This is the reason I wanted the chest break in first phase, is because if we got that chest break now, he would obviously slam, and then when he's on all fours, the walking back animation is a lot more confusing, and also, obviously, he'll force you to roll to not get pinned. So yeah, you can see we're just trying to stay in close range. We've got heroics, obviously. We're trying to stay in close range and pepper as many bullets into him as possible. Eventually, we will lose Tenderize. I can't even tell if we've lost it already because I'm using a much lower res. And you can see the moment we stop shooting him, he'll start to randomly fire attacks. However, I walk out of the smoke, and if you walk out of the smoke, he aggroes onto you and begins his roar. You'll notice that he's roaring every time. That's the reason we use Airplugs 5. That's just a quirk of when he re-aggroes onto you after purple mode. Yeah, so we're going to, when I reload, I will usually like walk towards the edge of my smoke because I'm a little bit worried. You can see there, for example, I'm doing it. I almost left the smoke because I was thinking if he starts to attack me, I'm going to be fucked, aren't I? So I thought I'd get to the edge of the smoke so that I can walk out of it and interrupt his attack by reclaiming aggro. As you can see, I'm a little bit out of close range here, but that's fine. These things happen. As I said, this isn't a perfect run. First phase is much slower than it should have been. There are definitely time-saving methods that you can do if you're better at the game and you get better RNG too. Personally, as I said, Sculpt gives me a bit of a headache and I wasn't super into the run, so that's why I'm posting something a little bit suboptimal. But mostly I just wanted to show you these strats and explain how they work, because I found them a little bit confusing at first. Like the differences between purple and regular AI loss and how to balance the two. Now you'll see I'm not rolling off Fire Blight. I'd like to get my my health down to Heroics range again, obviously. For final phase, you can see I still have the Glider Mantle on and I have Heavy Artillery into here. Obviously, if you find yourself taking longer, for example, if you're not using Heroics and you're running out of Glider Mantle, you're going to want to put Heavy Artillery into the actual set itself. Hopefully that makes sense, because you want Heavy Artillery while you're on this this mantle. We obviously lost Tenderize of the chest. That would have been much nicer to have. You can see I almost got killed there because I had bad aim, but what can you do? If you're better with this phase, I'm pretty sure you can just knock him down immediately and like skip over one of his Novas. But I don't know. I don't fully understand how to aim these things or make them work, or how to get the smoke bombs to interact. You'll see I max potion whenever he Novas and then take the fire damage to get back down to Heroics range. You do want to be in Heroics range as much as possible. Now, if I get that first Nova, I tend to use yeah, you can see it here. I wanted to get the chest tenderized again, and so I use one of the binders for that purpose, basically. There are definitely optimizations to be made in terms of like when I use the roaming ballista, when I use regular shots. And of course, during this third phase as well, you got to keep in mind that you can use the smoke bombs in exactly the same way that we used them previously. You do want to be a little bit careful. Like if you haven't got him back into the corner of the map and you have your stealth on your glider mantle, obviously he's going to go purple really quickly and start backing away from you. So you might want to take off your glider mantle before trying that, so that you can get the longer animation where he searches for you, but he hasn't gone purple. Or rather, the minimap hasn't gone purple. You can see I was a little bit stupid here. I knew for 100%, I was 100% certain that he was going to Nova after this, but I didn't sheath my weapon early enough, and so I didn't even start sheathing my weapon, so I almost got killed here. Obviously, play it a little bit more clever than I did. Now, I'm grabbing the other ballista binders and stuff, because I'm still not 100% comfortable using smoke bombs consistently. I found that Fatalis' AI is a little bit wonky. So I use the binders to make things a little bit easier. And here I can tell he's going for the cat, so I fire it, but obviously play it safe. As always, this is going to be dealing with Blue Flame Phase 3, so you want to take like every precaution to get it as to play it as safely as possible, because you are going to get one-shot by pretty much everything. Otherwise, I'm just trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. I think I've basically covered all of the ins and outs of how exactly this strategy works. This should be enough, I think. Oh no, okay, so at this point I should have started smoking. That's not a great sentence. I should have started throwing smoke bombs, but I actually, don't laugh at me, I completely forgot I had them. Like I forgot about, I just went, because we were doing this at the same time as we were doing like normal HBG runs, and so I just went into like my normal HBG playstyle. So I completely forgot about the smoke bombs. But yeah, obviously here it would be really convenient to just sheath your weapon and put down a smoke, and then he would search for you for like 20 seconds while you're just pelleting bullets inside of him. You can pretty much completely trivialize the entire fight. Every smoke bomb buys you quite a few seconds of time, and between that and the Novas that he gets sent off on, and the binders and the roaming ballista, yeah, it's very easy to just completely trivialize the rest of this fight. Obviously that's made it a little bit easier in a way because of Heroics, because I do so much more DPS. But at the same time, by having Heroics, you're at a lot more risk, so yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here. I barely ever got to Phase 3. This is one of my first Phase 3 like runs, as you can tell by the fact that I fucked it up so much. But yeah, I put my ghillie mantle on for like no reason. I don't know what I was doing, because he was only at 5% health. He was only a few shots away. I should have just do a smoke. Anyway, you get the idea here. This isn't supposed to be like a, oh wow, look at how amazing this run is, because there are people who've done this in like half the time. Like the source run, I think, is like under 5 minutes. This is more just to show off the strats and the set that I use and how they work and all of the considerations that I made while learning them, just to make the process a little bit easier for maybe anybody else trying it, or anybody who wants to incorporate these strats into their regular heavy bowgun runs that don't use Heroics. Yeah, hopefully you found this useful. The set has just been on screen with all the decoration, and it was there at the start. You can see, you know, 8.5 minutes is really not a bad time. But yeah, I think I'll let you go. So have a lovely day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.